and welcome. My name is Remo Stander. I am the Development Director here at Real Property Advice. Thank you so much for taking some time out to come and sit down and learn a little bit more about how you can earn 50% of the developer's profit. Some of the information that I'm going to go through today is a little bit around legal structure, how your assets are protected when you transact with us on projects. I'm going to go through some transparency so you can see exactly how transparent we are with our clients that transact with us. I'm also going to run you through some of our numbers so you can see how conservative we are on our feasibilities and how we determine whether a project is feasible or not. I'm also going to show you how you get access to our expert team, and then I'm going to take you through the 5 steps of how to make 50% of the developer's profit. Now, quickly, briefly, some of the things that we're going to go through today is structure, numbers, scheduling, communication plans, current projects, and so forth. Not in that particular order. Okay, so this is Scotty Gibbs. He's a property developer as well. He's from Sydney. He's partnered with us here at Real Property Advice to make 50% of the profits purely to diversify from his own developments. This is Adam and Kirsty. They too have now partnered on our Lizero project and will be transacting with us on our Yarrabilba project as well. They too have done so to earn 50% of the profits on the projects that we make. And this is Steve. Steve made 42% on his last project that he did with us in Port Stephens. That project took 18 months from the time we actually started that project up until the time that project was completed and clients paid out. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do this without doing any of the legwork yourself. So if you've been wondering about how long it's going to take to actually do the work, don't worry, my team and I will take care of that for you. Now, I'm also going to show you how to do that without wasting time and money trying to figure out which of these projects are feasible and profitable. I'm going to show you how to do it without using your personal assets as collateral, meaning should anything go wrong, your assets are actually protected. I'm going to show you how to do it without long extended completion dates and times. I'm going to show you how to do it without risking it all or doing it all on your own. So stay with me. This is an exciting presentation I'm going to take you through. I'm going to show you how you can do this with a team that has over 30 years experience in property development. Together, we have completed over 30 projects. We provide maximum security on your funds when you transact with us on projects. Our team, you've got access to our team 24/7. We do all the work. Scotty North, our CEO, is also a qualified property investment advisor, and he is also a member of PIPA, which is Property Investment Professionals of Australia. So this works for property owners with an existing portfolio, property owners who want to diversify their portfolio, or diligent property investors who want to kickstart their development journey. This works for you if you have tried property development and failed. You've bought property in the past, but you're now looking to better your returns and you're tired of waiting for market growth to actualize your profits. You have equity, you've got capital, but you don't have enough knowledge in manufacturing profits from property, unless you are going to go through the old buy and hold strategy, which is now outdated. This works for you if you have experience in property, but you're not sure what the best strategy is right now, or you're just keen to get onto a development, but you don't have enough funds or serviceability to do those projects on your own. Okay. Now, this is not for you if you're shopping around, if you're known to sit on the fence and you can't make decisions, if you're chasing high rewards that are 100% risk-free. If you have lost money before and you're just not sure anymore, you don't quite know if you want to keep transacting on developments. If you're too busy to come and sit with us for at least half an hour on each of the projects that you're transacting with, this is not for you. If you stand on others to get to the top, if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, or if you don't work well with others, this is not for you. Purely switch off. Go make yourself a cup of coffee. I don't want to waste your time. Okay, now a little bit about our team real quick. Scotty North, Managing Director, myself, Remo Stander, Head of Partnerships, Development Manager, Mark West, Head of Property, Ross Williams. We've got CO Tonga, Partner Relationships Manager, Karen Nielsen, our Project Admin Manager, Gabriel Northcott, Contracts Administration, and Jason Walvin, Partnership Manager. And then you guys probably would have spoken to Jay Van, who is also a Partners Relationships Manager, and also Anna, who is our Marketing Manager. A little bit about Scotty. In 2004, Scotty started sourcing local and US real estate for Aussie investors. In 2007, he pulled out and made our clients a decent amount of money. Scotty has been buying and developing and helping our clients from day one to generate profits and income from smaller projects such as investment properties, deal locks, duplex developments, small townhouse developments, and land subs. In 2015, Real Property Advice, aka Scotty North, decided to scale up and started taking on much larger projects due to the demand from his clients. And that's when I met Scotty North. We started working and partnering together on medium-sized developments since 2015 alongside other developers. In 2019, I jumped on board after serving as a general manager for a large property development company on the Sunshine Coast for 4 years, where I was responsible for the acquisitions, approvals, and delivery stages of the projects, as well as the day-to-day operations of the business. Since then, we have started 6 projects, all currently under construction. We've got a double duplex lot in Nelson Bay that's just been completed, 6 light industrial units in Beresfield, which is probably about a month off from completion. The date today is actually the 8th of September. So if you're watching this video around Christmas 2022, but guaranteed that project will be done. We've also got 4 NDIS houses in Balbarry, 7-lot subdivision in Queensland, 36 light industrial units in Lisarow on the Central Coast, New South Wales, 48 light industrial units in Yarrabilba in Queensland, and also a 46 light industrial unit development in Hillcrest in Queensland. So we've got a fair few projects on it to go right now. In 2015, myself and Scott, we created a better way to make money in property, and we have consistently been making 50% minimum returns since the day we got started in doing larger property development projects. Now, we've created a 5-step proven system, and I'll take you through that system real quick. So step number 1 is the acquisition process. That's when we look at land, as you can see on the screen right now. We purchase land of X size, typically over 8,000 square meters in size. Doesn't always have to be flat. We look at the infrastructure in the area. We look at how settled that area is. So obviously there's got to be a little bit of housing around there. It's got to be an established area, an established development, and so forth. It's got to be close to shops and shopping centers, petrol stations, hospitals, stuff like that. So we look for areas where there's actually been some substantial amount of infrastructure in the area. We also then take that project and we run it through our Gantt chart. This is our timeline chart. This tells us exactly how long this project will take. So if you look at milestones in the top left corner, we've got project initiation, we've got finish planning stage, commence construction, complete construction, and then receive titles for settlements to occur. Below that, you'll see planning and design, head contractor design, and construct pathway to be confirmed by contractor, and then certification. You'll also see the duration. You'll also see the start date, the finish date, and then you'll see little blue lines and red lines to the right. The blue lines mean that it's not a critical pathway. The red lines mean that it is indeed a critical pathway. So we put our projects through this format and then determine how long that project will take to complete. And on average, our projects take about 18 months. Okay, that's a very average timeline for our projects. That's based on completed projects to date. We then run our numbers. We don't take on projects with less than 50% returns. We actually are extremely conservative with our numbers. If you look at the feasibility on your screen right now, this is a 10,880 square meter block of land, we're utilizing 43%, so 5,440. I know that's half, but that actually includes mezzanine. So we're not actually using 50% of the floor space. We're only utilizing 43, and then the rest of it's made up through mezzanine. Cost per square meter for the floor to be built is around 1,815. Now, we've had confirmation from our builders, and we get the confirmation all the time that the price per square meter to build right now is sitting at about 1,500 plus variables, and we add a little on top of that to make sure that, you know, should there be a 5 or 10% inflation in price, we've actually covered that in our feasibility. You'll see here the lender rate is 10%, so that's our interest rate. That's over 12 months, and that is on a net amount of 9,973,600. And then obviously that's 997,360 over 12 months. Our projects typically compete over 18 months. However, our construction period is around 8 months. Our blended rate on our interest rate is typically sitting at around 7 to 8%. So we do have a little bit of inflation barrier there to make sure that that contingency is built into the numbers to ensure that should our interest rate go up, should the project be extended for 2 or 3 months, we've got that buffer in there. So still keeping very conservative. The sales per square meter, this is Inc. GST, so 4,800 per square meter Inc. GST. However, when we go to market, we actually sell it at the given rate that you see on your screen right now, ex GST. So we would typically add an extra 10% into our feasibility. And then we've got a contingency of $465,000. That's typically sitting between 5 and 10%, depending on the project and so forth. If we don't use the contingency actually comes back into the project as a profit. Our return on equity, our bottom line goes up, and we split those profits again, as I said, with our clients 50-50. So this is just a quick overall view of the numbers on our projects, and I will share very soon 2 feasibilities on our current projects so you can understand exactly how conservative we aim to be on all the projects that we do. Once we get into the research phase, we run our projects in such a way that we look at the current projects in the area. We look at up and coming projects through council database. We look at sales pricing confirmed by the top agents. We also look at the infrastructure, off-market projects, supply and demand, end users. We look at services, and then also migration into that area predicted over the next 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, and how much that community is actually going to grow. Okay. Then we get into the point where we actually sign contracts and we acquire our land. This is 5 Awaba Street in Lisarow. This is a project that we took on much earlier this year. And then we get into step 2, stage 2, our partnerships. This is where our clients get to come and transact with us on projects. Now, how the partnership structure normally works is we've got a joint venture entity set up in a unit trust. That is where our joint venture partners sit. And then we've got a developer entity, and that's where Real Property Advice sits. That's typically in the form of a proprietary limited. With our clients sitting in the joint venture partnership entity within that unit trust, our clients get mortgaged security over their funds. The reason for that is when we purchase land, we purchase the land outright in cash. So it gives us 100% equity over the property, and it gives us 100% mortgage security over the property. That security is then handed over to the clients up until we go for construction funding. Once the banks get involved, obviously there's not much we can do in terms of keeping first mortgage security with our clients. The banks will always assume that first mortgage security up until the bank gets paid back. All right. So also keep in mind that the client entity is non-recourse. Should anything go wrong with the project, God forbid, we haven't, touch wood, that's never happened to us, but should something do go wrong, that's non-recourse. So a client's exposure is the amount of money that you've put into the project. They can't come after your personal assets as collateral or anything like that. So your exposure is the funds that you've put into the project. The developer entity, on the other hand, it's a proprietary limited. Real Property Advice goes and sources the bank funding or the construction funding on the project. On average, it's around $10 million. That loan exposure is completely taken on by Real Property Advice. It's full recourse. They can come after our personal assets, bank guarantee checks, and personal guarantee checks. Okay, so it is in our best interest to ensure that any project that we take on board as an organization, we complete those projects on time and on budget. And we always make sure that we do enough research and due diligence at the start of the project to ensure the project's not going to fall over later. Also, before we sign contracts, we make sure that there's an exit clause in that contract somewhere. That way, should we find something prior to starting construction on the project, there's typically an exit clause or a way for us to get out of that contract without losing a lot of money. All right. Now, once those two entities have been set up, we then transfer, we get our clients, joint venture partners, to transfer funds into the project unit trust account. All right. Once that's done, we then sign a development funding agreement and a joint venture agreement. That's typically a loan agreement and a management agreement in property development terms. Once all this happens, we go through the process of getting the DA underway. Once we get the DA back or CDC back, we then get our construction loan done. We then develop the property, develop the land. Once that's completed, we sell. Funds get paid back out to the bank. Bank always gets paid first. Clients get paid back their capital second. Once we're into profits, then we split those profits with our clients 50-50. Okay. Now, one thing I will say is your funds have to go back into your own account. It can't sit within our account. It has to go back in your account. We can't rotate funds out of one project into another. We would assume that the ATO would think that there's some tax evasion going on. So I've got to be clear on that please don't ask us to keep funds in an account and then transfer it into another account. We can't do that. Funds has to go back into your account. It's going to be registered in your account. And then we can, once that's done, we can then transfer it into another project. The other thing I will also say is each development is run as an individual business vertical, meaning that we only run one project through an entity at any given time. We don't run a project before it, at the same time, or after. Once the project's complete, we actually shut down all the unit trusts, the proprietary limiteds, and the unit trust accounts. Okay, we run our numbers, everything gets shut down. When we start a new project, we establish new individual business verticals in the shape or form of a unit trust and a proprietary limited, and then we can transfer funds back in. That's purely for security reasons. That way, if anything happens to a project before or after, they can't come back and recall any funds that's gone through that entity. All right. Then we get into stage 3, which is our approvals. This is where we actually look at the block of land that we've got. This is 5 Awaba Street in Lisbon. This is a great project of ours. This is 37 or 38 units. You can see it's an oddly shaped block of land. Not only is it oddly shaped, but it is also on a bit of a slant. So I think it's about a 6 or 8% gradient. So we look at the block of land, we look at the shape, and we look at the best way to achieve the maximum result or the maximum outcome to turn over the most amount of profit with the least amount of cost. All right. So we look at the best use of the site. Once this is done, we then do our geotechnical reporting. We apply it to get the trees cut down. We get some engineering advice from our engineers. We get electrical design plans in place from our electrical engineering design firm. We look at stormwater, biobasins, retention, and the construction. All right. So once we've got all this together, we submit the application form to council and we get our DA back. I will say that when we submit to council through a DA, they've got 6 RFIs that they can send out. And RFI is a request for more information. As soon as an RFI goes back to the developer, us as the developer, do all the necessary work in order to satisfy the RFI, send the information back to council. Council has 6 weeks to then respond back to us to make in order to proceed with the development application. So they've got 6. They can take up to 6 weeks. That is a very, very long delay on a project if council has to send out 6 RFIs and they've got 6 weeks to reply, right? So when we typically do our DAs, we make sure that we do all the necessary work up front. So if you're a developer or you're sitting there and you've done your own projects, and you've had RFIs from council, it purely means that not all the correct information has been sent up front. We send everything up front. The maximum amount of RSIs that we've received back from council is 1. And that's typically just a 6-week delay. They go through all the information and then it gets approved. And that's just because someone at council might be a cadet, they might be a little bit new and they don't quite understand stuff, so they'll send out an RFI just for the sake of. So anyway, so that's the approvals. Then we get into delivery. Once we get into delivery, this is the exciting stage. This is where we actually go and build what we said we were going to build on site. This is awesome. This is probably the most favorite part of my journey in property development. This is what I love. So we actually go and put what we've got on paper to plan, and we actually get it constructed. This is 5 Awaba Street in Lisero. You'll see here, as I said, it's nice and slopey. It's an odd shaped block, but it's beautiful. And this is our Beresfield project. This is the one under construction right now. And then we get into divestment. Divestment is where we actually sell the actual project. All right. This is where we take what we've built, some of our projects that we've completed to date, you'll see on screen. And we actually sell these. Now, once we sell these, obviously the banks get paid first, clients get paid back their capital. And then once we get into profits, we split those profits with our clients 50-50. So here's a quick rundown of a typical development journey. So entities get set up. We get our contract signed after we've negotiated on price. Funds get transferred into the unit trust account. Units then get allocated within the unit trust. We then provide first mortgage security back to the clients over the property. We go through the DA process. We then go and fund the construction. We construct the project, as in we build it. Once that's done, or whilst that's going, we actually start getting pre-sales as we go through the construction phase. Once the construction's done, we call in all of those contracts. We then settle and pay out, and as you can see there, external lender gets paid out first, which is the loan facility. The joint venture partners' capitals are returned, and then we split the profits 50-50. Profits are then dispersed to the joint venture partners and the developer, and then on completion, everything is dissolved. So we actually dissolve everything, as I mentioned before, shut everything down, and then we find our next project and then reestablish all of those entities. Communication. So some of the ways that we communicate with our clients on a daily, weekly, monthly basis is through Zoom. So just like we're sitting here today and myself presenting, you will be sitting on the other side along with the rest of my team, and my team will present to you exactly how the projects are performing. We will look at what we've achieved and accomplished over the last 30 days, where we're at right now, and then what we've got planned for the next 30 days. We'll give you an update on that. We'll provide a Gantt chart, which is a timeline chart, as I showed you before, on exactly how those projects are running. We also give our clients access to Slack, which is a really cool little desktop app and phone app. It gives you the opportunity to come and communicate with my team and all the other joint venture partners directly through the app. All the information that we have in our projects gets uploaded onto Slack as soon as new information has arrived. And then all of the information, all of the monthly Zoom meetings also get added onto Slack. So you can just go into your project channel and then go and look at the last recording. So if you can't make it to a monthly Zoom meeting, rest assured the information or that meeting will be uploaded onto Slack. It'll give you the opportunity to go and watch that in your own time. And then for full transparency, we give our clients access to our Xero accounting software. This is great. The reason why we do this is because we don't want you guys to worry about whether there's enough money in the project for the project to be completed and so forth. So instead of calling us and asking us, we give you login details. You can jump in there and actually have a look at the invoices, what's being paid out on the projects, and how much money is in the account. So it's really just there to see how healthy the projects are. And that's full transparency. Everything that we do, we provide all the information to our clients. You've got to understand that when you're transacting with us on a project, you're a joint venture partner. You're not just an investor, you're not just an armchair investor sitting on the side and putting your money into a project and in 24 months, your money gets paid out. No, you're an active joint venture partner. We provide all the information on the project required in order for you to make a decision on whether you want to transact on the project. Once you're in, we give you monthly updates on how the projects are performing. And then you also can go in and have a look on how healthy the project is from a financial standpoint. Okay. So, little bit about the joint venture transaction stages. Stage one is the acquisition and design. This is where us as the developer go in, we look at the actual project as a whole, we run our numbers, we run our Gantt charts, we look at the size of the property, we look at the shape of the property, the slope and so forth. We look at water, we look at easements, overlays and everything else, and we look at the research and due diligence that we need to conduct on any project before we start the project and sign contracts. This is also the stage where we as the developer take on the first amount of risk and we pay a deposit on the project from our bank account. So we'll take on stage one. That stage is typically closed to most of our joint venture partners. Stage two is where we actually settle on the land. So we will raise funds through our clients as well as have some sort of cash contribution in from ourselves. This is where we actually settle on the land. So we actually go and purchase the land outright in cash, and then we start the pre-construction phase. This is where we do the majority of the work, where we get advice from town planners, consultants, engineers, what can, what can't be done, easements, overlays, how does that affect the property and so forth. That is stage two. Any client coming into the project in stage two will earn 50% of the developer's profit. Okay. Now, once we get into stage three, this is the delivery and finalization stage. Any client coming in at stage three will earn a 35% profit on the 35% share on the profits of the project. So where our clients come in at stage two and earn 50% of the profits that we've made, clients coming in at stage three will only earn 35% of the profits that we made. All right. So those are the three stages that we have on our projects. So thank you guys very much for spending some time with me today and going through some very high level basic information about what we did. I hope that you have a better understanding of how you can earn 50% of the profits. You have now got three choices. You can do nothing and achieve nothing. You can do it yourself and risk it all. And some people do, and they are successful, and some people do it and they're not as successful. Or you can come and join us, become part of an organization that is made and built up of a team of experts, and come and earn 50% of the profits that we make on our projects. So what you need to do next is complete the JVPA on screen, get approved and secure your spot, provide trust account details. We will send you the details out so you can transfer funds in. Once your funds have been transferred into the account, that will secure your spot within the project, and then we will help you get set up on the monthly progress update reports. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you've had a great time. I hope you've learned a little bit more about what we do, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.